What's going on, guys? Mic check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Obviously changed the format around just a little bit, and I am here with TJ, so let us both know if our mics are working. TJ, you there?
Hi.
What's going on?
I didn't know if I was allowed to talk.
No, you're allowed to talk now.
You promise?
I promise.
All right.
All right, so what's up, guys? Thanks for all the comments. Really appreciate it. Yes, it's Takedown Tuesday. That's the official name of Tuesday.
Takedown Tuesday.
So, a lot of injury news just came out. Well, a decent amount did. I think Draymond Green just got ruled out too.
Oh, did he really? My phone's over here.
Yeah, I believe so. I saw that in Discord anyway.
Yeah, he did. Marquise Chris probable.
Okay. So, yeah, so we still have to break down a few things. I just went over Indiana. We're going to have to go over the Warriors in just a second here. But yeah, TJ, where do you want to start today?
That is a fantastic question, Matthew. Let's start with Indiana.
Okay, let's start there. So Indiana is at a 109.75, which is actually a slight pace-up spot for Indiana against Charlotte. Charlotte is very soft in defense. However, they play at a pace down. Usually, they play at a pace down, offensive pace anyway. So if we look here at the roster, there's some standout matchups, and I think that the fantasy points, at least on our sheet, are going to be a little bit inflated, TJ, just because, with Cody Zeller down low, everybody seems to dominate him. It seems like offensively, these guys just take full advantage of down low for anybody against Charlotte. So Miles Turner is going to stand out not only on their sheet, but really just overall in general. I think if he didn't stand out on their sheet, I would still like him. But he's showing a 6.3 point per dollar value on our sheet. I just want to point out in general, there's a lot of value at the center position on this slate. So I do like Miles Turner. We know that with Oladipo out, Justin Holiday gets a boost in minutes here. However, he's not that productive. Still a 5.7 point per dollar value on their sheet. Again, going to be a pace-up spot. TJ McConnell, 21 minutes, 5.4. I think Aaron Holiday he was announced a starter. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 27 minutes, 5.3 on our sheet. And then Brogdon, obviously a GPP flyer, 7.1K without Oladipo is about where he was earlier in the season. So I think right there is going to be the cutoff. But if I really had to pick one person, I really am high on Miles Turner tonight, not only in cash, but in GPPs in general. So what are your thoughts? What's your take on Indiana?
Yeah, I also really like Miles Turner. It's a great matchup against those Charlotte bigs. Rates out very well on our sheet and actually gets a 2.6% usage bump with Oladipo and Lamb off the court, surprisingly. Averages 1.09 fantasy points per minute. He's a 6.5 on our sheet. So I really like him in a good matchup against Charlotte. With Oladipo getting ruled out, that definitely puts some more value to somebody like TJ McConnell, right now projected at 21 minutes. He's a very productive point per minute player when he's on the court. At 3,200, I definitely like him as a punt play. I don't know if I'll get to him in cash, but I have been obviously wanting some value because there are some guys I want to try and pay up for tonight, even though I think it's kind of like a mid-tier type night in cash. But McConnell and Doug McDermott now at 3,200 and 3K are both guys that I really like for punt plays. Aaron Holiday at 4,600. I'm not in love with it. I'm going to wait and see what his ownership update is. Played pretty well against Toronto. I know Indiana got smoked, if I remember. So he ended up logging a fair deal of minutes, played 33 minutes. was fairly productive. He was at the minimum of 3K, got a 1,600 price boost. So even if he's starting, I don't necessarily know if I love it just because this over-under isn't very juicy. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with his ownership percentage in terms of cash. But yeah, Miles Turner for cash, I'm definitely trying to figure out who I want to go with between him and Tice. But yeah, I definitely like Turner. And then those bottom guys like McConnell and Doug McDermott are definitely more interesting now.
Yeah, one of these guys is going to go off, and between Justin Holiday and Aaron Holiday, you just really don't know. They're pretty much the same production-wise. I think if I had to pick one, I would go with the higher minutes, which is Justin Holiday right now. Aaron Holiday does step it up, though, without Oladipo. So, again, you can make a case for both those guys. Again, they're showing low-owned as of right now, but I still have to kind of sit back and refresh that a little bit later on the stream to see if they finally update that.
Yeah, that'll definitely change.
Yeah. Are we looking at Charlotte at all?
I mean, I always have interest in Zeller, but
Yeah.
I mean, 4,500. I don't mind. If I'm taking anybody, it's Rozier, but I just, yeah, they're not very DraftKings viable, or fantasy viable for that matter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Charlotte's never really on the picture unless they're playing somebody like Washington.
Right. I mean, I don't hate Rozier at that price tag, but he's just been so bad that I'm not going to. I mean, yeah, no, I don't. No. Go. Next game. Let's
go to Toronto because they have some interesting plays too. Toronto and Milwaukee, because we know Milwaukee's coming off a back-to-back, and I kind of want to touch base on Giannis. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with Milwaukee, actually. So with Milwaukee, Giannis got that price increase, 11.6. And I suspect it's because of how well he's been doing after All-Star break, with the exception of last night, but that's because he was in foul trouble. He still got, 42 DK points, and how many minutes did you say it was, 25?
Yeah.
So the ceiling's there, and I think the motivation is there. I think Giannis is going to be, you're going to see his price tag just keep going up as the season progresses here into playoffs. I see a lot of people on Giannis, just overall in general. I see a lot of these I saw Awesemo talking about him earlier. But I really do think that he could end up being a sneaky pay-up option tonight. But other than that, there's really nobody that intrigues me. Middleton here at 7.7. You got a price decrease. I ended up starting him last night. One of my GPPs, he got 59 DK points, but that was only because only because Giannis was out of the game.
I'm allowing because Malik Monk is starting ahead of Devontae Graham.
Oh, okay. That's something to wow about, yeah. So I think
Devontae Graham's uncertain for Tuesday.
Devontae Graham is okay.
Yeah, so that's all right. So maybe Charlotte. Oh God, I don't want to play Rozier, man. Yeah, all right, we're gonna have to wait and see how that. We're gonna have to wait and see what transpires with that.
Yeah. Now for Milwaukee, are you interested in anybody else on Milwaukee other than Giannis? And Giannis might not even be cash viable. I think he's just strictly GPPs.
No, I don't have any interest in those guys tonight for cash.
Okay. So for Toronto, now there's one guy that sticks out to me, and that's Ibaka. And then Van Vliet's price tag has been going down 6.8. We know he's not that productive, or hasn't been, with all these injuries back for him other than Gasol. So other than Ibaka, are you looking at anybody else on this team?
I mean, Ibaka's probably going to be a cash lock for me tonight based off ownership. I really like the matchup for him against the Bucks. He's very cheap. No Gasol, should see mid 30 minutes, a competitive game, averages 1.12 fantasy points per minute. He's the best point per dollar on our sheet for Toronto, so I definitely like him tonight in this matchup. I don't hate Van Vliet as a GPP play, but like not in terms of cash by any means. Yeah, it's just Ibaka that I'm interested in for cash.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ibaka has a decent ceiling too. He did pretty well last night too. Let me see what he was at. Yeah, 37. So he covers price tag and a little bit more. So yeah,
Ibaka. Oh yeah, 2 days. Yeah, they played Indiana. He only played 24 minutes.
Yeah, that too. He got off to a very strong start. All right. And now let's move on to Chicago, because Chicago has all those injuries out, and everybody got ruled out that was supposedly questionable. So Porter got ruled out, Valentine got ruled out. Everybody's out for Chicago. So while you were gone, that same injury list was there for us, but the price tags are a little bit higher now. Do you have any interest in Chicago at 106 against OKC?
I like that they're at home. I feel like just everybody is a little bit more competitive at home. I mean, yeah, I don't hate Levine's price tag at 8,900 as a GPP play. I don't hate Thad Young as a GPP. I mean, these are all GPP plays for me. Like Archie Diacono at 3,300. I mean, he's projected right now at mid 20s for in terms of minutes.
Archer Diacono. Okay, I did not know how to say his last name.
Archie Diacono. Yeah,
got it.
So yeah, he's projected at mid 20 minutes. He's been actually getting an uptick in minutes lately, especially with all these injuries. And he's been playing fairly well. So like, I don't hate him as a pump play. I'd rather go with McConnell or Doug McDermott now with those injuries. But yeah, more of GPP options for me. Like I wouldn't mind taking stabs with Kobe White just because of. I mean, he doesn't rate out any like well on our sheet, but last 2 games he's been unbelievable.
Phenomenal. Career game 2 nights ago.
Yeah, he's been chucking up a lot of shots. So I feel like that's kind of taken away from Levine too a little bit. Not too much, but. Yeah, so it's definitely a GPP kind of team tonight for Chicago. I don't really have any interest in these guys in cash. But like I said, I don't hate Levine at 8-9. I could definitely see myself rostering some Kobe White, and then Archie Diacono at
Hey, hold on, TJ. For the chat, guys, Mighty Mole, we do not like that negativity in here. Guys, again, please keep the negative comments out of the chat. Go ahead, TJ.
What happened?
Just going back and forth between a couple guys.
Guys,
come on. We're all trying to win money
here. That's all I got. That's it. Just GPPs. I don't have any cash interest in these guys.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm not even gonna try to butcher his last name. You already said it. Ryan is what I'm calling him right now. 3% ownership. If he's getting the starting role here, I do like
Archie Diacono.
I'm not gonna do it. Archie Diacono. I said it. I'm saying it one time. I know, but I don't want to keep saying it. It actually takes up more time out of our stream. So, but anyway, decent play. If he's starting again, he's been doing fairly well with the minutes given. Gafford here at 23 minutes, 3.6K, also not bad. The only reason I like Chicago, and I'll keep saying, is because the percentage is very low on these guys. The only reason I like them, and if they happen to go over the 106 over under, they could end up paying off for you. We did it a couple nights ago. Again, just very, very low in their price tags. Let's go ahead and switch over to OKC. It seems like there's one player in each one of these games. It's just kind of annoying at this point. The chalk play coming out of Gallinari. I mean, he's been tagged here as a core play by your boy. 35% ownership is what they have him tagged here at. It's a pace-up spot for OKC, so a lot of these guys are in the pace-up spot. Obviously, you can take a stab at any one of these guys for GPPs, but Gallinari is obviously the guy that we're looking at for ownership. 6.1K, does he draw any interest in you?
Yeah, definitely. Just bigs against Chicago right now. They've been absolutely decimated, obviously, with all those guys. No Cornette. No Wendell Carter, no Markkanen, no Hutchinson. It's just Gafford and Thad. So, like, yeah, I mean, even Steven Adams as a GPP play, I definitely don't hate that at 6-7, but I'd rather go to 6,100 at Gallinari. Should see the minutes tonight. They're at a 114 over under. It's a very good matchup. The Bulls are very poor against bigs in general, even fully healthy. So, I mean, the fact that they're decimated just makes it that much better. So, like, the center and power forward position are guys that I like to attack when they're playing against Chicago. So I definitely like Gallinari. I definitely like Steven Adams as a GPP play. But yeah, again, those are the only 2 guys I'm really looking at in terms of cash or GPPs. Gallinari, more of a cash play, and GPP, I guess. And then Steven Adams, GPP play.
Yeah, I think Steven Adams just adds to more center options. Like I said, there's so much value here at the center position tonight, and he just adds to it. So again, another great option at the center position. All right, I want to hear your opinion on this mess of a Detroit team right now, because it's throwing me into throwing me through a loop. Who? Bruce Brown? We don't know yet. I think he's still questionable.
See, that's tough because he sat out last game too, and they start at 9. So I'm sorry, he played 33 minutes against Portland and then banged up his knee. So
yeah, I have a feeling he'll play through it. I don't know. He's a tough guy. Derrick Rose, though, I mean, regardless, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. But if we look at his previous games here, I mean, coming back off an injury here, 19, 20 points. I know there were very low minutes against Milwaukee, but against Portland, it was just a bad showing. He's showing here at 13%, and I like that ownership on him just because of his upside. Again, it's against Denver, so it's throwing me through a loop. I really don't know to recommend him to you guys, but I'm saying this again. He's just such a productive player when he is healthy. I don't know if there's an injury really hindering his production or anything, but I do like Derrick Rose tonight. I'll be overexposed to him. I'm willing to take that chance. Derrick Rose, just a a phenomenal player without Reggie Jackson and Drummond on the floor, and they're obviously both not here anymore. John Henson, obviously another productive person with the minutes given. 20 minutes could be a nice value play here at the center position. Has really been tearing it up here in Detroit. His past couple games here, 27, 13 with only 14 minutes, so he's projected at 20 here. So I do suspect he'll get to value and then some. Again, they might need him if another big does pick up some foul trouble here, which is definitely a possibility. So I do like John Henson. Of course, my boy Bruce Brown, still productive at 31 minutes if he does play. So the only thing that scares me, obviously, is it's going to be a defensive battle here against Denver. Denver is going to keep them at a very low pace. I think I'm going to take some stabs at Derrick Rose, but again, it's very risky. I'm not going to recommend him as my sleeper for tonight just because of his recent production, but I will personally be overexposed to him. TJ, what are you going to do about Derrick Rose?
It's always the question, isn't it? I mean, he rates out pretty well on a sheet. I have him at a 1.16 fantasy point per minute with all those injuries and guys off the court. So takes a little bit of a hit without Reggie Jackson, without Drummond. It's been tough sledding since the trade deadline for Detroit in terms of productivity for some of these guys, especially Derrick Rose. I definitely hate the matchup against Denver. I think it's a tough one, but like at 5,600, I feel like that's a little too cheap for him. I don't necessarily recommend him as a cash play, but for GPPs, I definitely don't mind, rostering him. Him and Christian Wood would be two guys that I'm looking at in terms of GPPs. And then McCollum, if he starts at 3,100, like I definitely don't mind taking a chance with him as well. He's very dependent on his 3-point shooting and scoring. So that's the one thing that kind of stinks with him. It can be pretty hit or miss. But yeah, those are the three guys that I kind of like for Detroit. Obviously, it is a very tough matchup for them going to Denver. So, I mean, I'm not sitting here and jumping through hoops telling you guys, like Matt said, to roster these Detroit Pistons. But, at a 102 over-under, they're not going to carry too much ownership. And, like, Derrick Rose could definitely have a good game tonight. They're going to need it. So, they're 12-point dogs. So, yeah, I mean, I can definitely get behind it. And if I am rostering anybody from Detroit, it's going to be Derrick Rose, it's going to be Christian Wood, and then I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on McCollum either.
Have you refreshed your page in a while? Because mine's showing 100 for Detroit's over-under. I just refreshed it again. Regardless, I mean, it's about the same.
Fantasy Labs has them at 102, so that's
okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. No, yeah, it's 100.5, yeah. So even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah, so, I mean, the pace does scare me. That's the only thing with Detroit, but plenty of value there. I mean, it could end up paying off for you. It's like them in Chicago. It's like they're just so underpriced, but again, their ceiling is so low too. So it's like a hit or miss. Denver, do we want to touch base on Denver at all? I feel like we're going through all the games here, which we practically are. But yeah, it's not a bad thing.
I mean, the Will Barton price tag is the one that really jumps out at me.
Always one player from each game.
Huh?
One player from each game, again.
Yeah, I mean, he played well against OKC after the All-Star break. He struggled against Minnesota. But yeah, I definitely like Will Barton as a GPP play. I mean, just that 5,500 price tag is something we're not used to seeing for a guy of that caliber. So it actually has come up a little bit. He was 5,300 against OKC. So yeah, I definitely have some interest in Will Barton in terms of GPPs. I don't hate Jokic in this matchup either. I just don't like the pace of this game, so I'm not going to be overweight on any of these guys, but those would be the two guys that I'm targeting. Any love for your boy Millsap?
I was just about to touch base on it because Millsap just recently got put back into the starting lineup, and I mentioned this in the Discord 2 nights ago where we took him at 0.75% in cash. This was the last night that you were gone. Got 41 DK points in the starting lineup. So again, if he's going to be producing this well in the starting lineup, and he's going to be getting about 27 to 30 minutes, another GPP option for sure. I mean, he's obviously been a different kind of player in the starting lineup, and especially against Detroit. So again, upside there. If you guys want to take a stab at him, by all means. But he's not cash viable. He's definitely GPP viable. And of course, Jokic with the prime matchup. Again, another center position. But yeah, I mean, I do have a little bit of love for Millsap for sure. All right, the biggest over/under on the slate here with the Pelicans and the Lakers. Who do you want to talk about first?
We can start with the Pelicans. I'm going to sneeze.
Okay. We can start with the Pelicans. All right. So this is also confusing. Bless you. Because Brandon Ingram at 34 minutes, 6.8K, it's been a weird situation with Ingram. He averages 1.24 fantasy points per minute. Obviously, with Zion, like I said, they stagger their minutes, so they try not to eat into. Or the coach doesn't really let them eat into each other's production unless it's the end of the fourth or the end of the second quarter. But he hasn't been doing that well since All-Star break. Obviously, with a hindering injury. I really don't know what to think about his minutes. Again, it's like a Derrick Rose kind of situation. It's like how much are they going to actually play them? Derrick Rose and Ingram. And if they do play him, he's obviously going to have a ceiling game because Brandon Ingram is a great player. It's going to be against the Lakers. It should be competitive if you're in the narratives against his old team. So all that's playing into account. 28% ownership. It looks like he's going to be more on the chalky side. So again, I kind of have to sit back and I have to observe the ownership percentages one more time before we get off on stream to see if I can recommend somebody like Ingram. But he's a safe play. Even when he's been back, he just hasn't had a ceiling. It's 29.5 and 33 is all right around his value. So again, he's not he hasn't had a bad game per se, but he hasn't had what we expect from Brandon Ingram. With the other players, I already got some Zion Williamson questions. Guys, I'll keep saying this about Zion. A fantastic player, obviously. There's no doubt about it. But at 8K, it's tough for me to get on this guy. His only ceiling game is without Brandon Ingram at 50 points. And even then, it's only 50. It's only 10 over from his, whatever, I think it was 8 point. Well, he was at 7K at that game. But at 8K right now, he's gotten 41, 36. We're not going to include the 16. 41. So, they're all... I just feel like he has a decent floor, but he also doesn't have that high of a ceiling. I don't know. That's my thoughts on him. But if there's only one guy I'm really looking at from this game, it's going to be Brandon Ingram. And really, that's the only person that's carrying any ownership. TJ, what's your thoughts on the Pelicans?
Yeah, I'm with you. I really like Ingram tonight for cash. The one thing that I was concerned about is I was curious to see what Ingram averages with Zion on the court, and that starting five of Ingram, Lonzo, Zion, Favors, and Drew. And he actually averages 1.31 fantasy points per minute in a 120-minute sample size. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with that. Zion coming in at 1.1. Ingram at 6'8", yeah, he's coming back from the injury after the All-Star break. He played 27 minutes against Portland, 34 against Golden State. I expect him to play 34 again tonight. Going back to the team that traded him and the Lakers, this will be the third time that they square off this season. He struggled in their first two meetings. So I don't know if that has any correlation or anybody wants to draw any, I don't even know if anybody wants to make any comparisons as to what he might do out this tonight, like struggle or anything like that. But yeah, I definitely like Ingram for cash. Definitely somebody that I'm looking to roster. I don't hate Zion for GPPs because I feel like the huge narrative tonight is obviously Zion, LeBron. Like, is Zion the next LeBron? What have you? So that's kind of why I like Ingram, just because I feel like it's going to be like, hey, don't forget about me. Like this is still my team. So yeah, Ingram's definitely somebody I'm interested in. This high over under is just crazy. I definitely like a lot of these cheaper guys too, like shooters like Redick, McCollum. McCollum's been giving him great minutes off the bench. He's been scoring pretty well. So like some guys like that are guys that I don't mind taking stabs at in GPPs, just because it's a very high over under, and you want to try and take shooters, guys that can try and keep the Pelicans competitive on the road against the Lakers. So Redick and McCollum are definitely two guys that I'm interested in for GPPs, just on strictly scoring. But yeah, Ingram's the guy that I'm looking at tonight for the Pelicans.
Yeah, for sure. Vegas is definitely respecting the Pelicans with Zion back, because you got to keep in mind they're playing at LA. So it being an 8-point, them being an 8-point underdog really is not that bad. So it should be fairly competitive.
Yeah.
All right, switching over to the other side of the ball, there's a lot to choose from here, because it looks like, I will say this, it looks like all the shooters that we're not normally on here are very, very close to bottom of the barrel. 24, 24, and 27 minutes isn't that intriguing, but like you said, it's a pace-up spot. Anybody playing the Pelicans, obviously very intriguing for shooters. Avery Bradley, Danny Green, Caldwell Pope, take your pick. They're all they're just shooters. That's all they are. If I had to pick one, Danny Green probably stands out the most to me. Just obviously the most consistent of the shooters. And then Caldwell Pope, 24 minutes also. And Avery Bradley's getting the most minutes. Bless you. So It's like if you want to take GPP stabs at these guys, by all means. And then the question we're going to get before the stream ends is LeBron or AD. The percentage ownership is going to be slightly on AD just because he has been performing well against the Pelicans. And there's obviously that revenge narrative and all that good stuff at home. I see why. But LeBron is also in a fantastic spot here, and another great matchup. Apparently, the Pelicans struggle against forwards of his nature. So I do like LeBron James. I do like AD. I think you're going to be the chalkiest of the pay-up options, barring any injury news. So I think those are my favorite options on the slate, or on that team. So TJ, what's your thoughts on the Lakers?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's spending up and trying to roster one of LeBron and AD. I think they're both in great spots tonight at 10-7 and 10-3. I wouldn't mind landing on either of them in cash. I feel like I'd rather save the 400 and get to AD. And then, yeah, I mean, Avery Bradley and Danny Green, shooters, man. That's what we like to talk about in these high over-unders. I think I'd rather go with Avery Bradley tonight, but as like a punt play for cash as a last option or a last piece, and Avery Bradley or Danny Green, I wouldn't mind if one of them ended up in my lineup.
Yeah.
Especially if they're starting in a high-paced game against the Pelicans. So with the 240 over-under, I mean, that's definitely a game you want to look to attack. But yeah, I think it's spending up, trying to get one of LeBron or AD for cash, and then if you come back in and end up having one of Avery and Danny Green, I definitely don't hate it.
Yeah, and even Caldwell Pope's been doing pretty well. So, I mean, really, you can make a case for all these guys. And I'm going to probably end up playing some of these guys in my GPPs for sure. If they're showing at 7, 4, and 3% ownership. So, again, could definitely pay off for you guys. Let's talk about your boys in Boston. Because, what's his face? Kemba. I couldn't think of his name. Kemba is still out. It benefits Tatum the most here. So if we look at Tatum's price tag, 8.8K, it's definitely harder to roster somebody that high up. 8.8 is obviously a lot higher than he's been. Looking at their sheet, it looks like Marcus Smart, Daniel Tice, and Jaylen Brown all rate just as well, or if not better, than Jason Tatum. Daniel Tice standing out the most. 29 minutes, 4.9. Obviously another great option at the center position. Marcus Smart definitely carrying a lot lower ownership than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I do like him for GPPs. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, though, I feel like those are your safer options. If I had to pick one, though, I mean, it's tough. Smart, Brown, it's the same thing with all these Celtics, but it makes it a little bit harder now just because of these price tags. I would say all aboard the Jason Tatum train, but again, 8.8K is a little scary. And then, of course, you always love Gordon Hayward. So, TJ, what's your thoughts on Boston?
That is a very good question, and what I've been thinking to myself all day. I mean, I like all 5 of these Celtic starters tonight. I love Tatum for GPPs. I wouldn't hate rostering him in cash. He's been playing absolutely electric these last couple games since the All-Star break. So yeah, I mean, he's not somebody that I'm going out of my way, because like if I can get Tatum or McCollum, I think I'd rather go with CJ. But yeah, I definitely don't hate Tatum tonight in cash. I mean, the 8A price tag's definitely scary, but the way he's been playing since the All-Star break and in general this last month he's just taken a huge leap forward. So definitely somebody that I'm interested. I'll probably be more overweight on him in GPPs and kind of take a stance there. But yeah, between Hayward and Jaylen, I'd rather pay down and get Jaylen tonight. Yeah. Should see mid 30 minutes in a competitive game, so I definitely like him over Hayward. Marcus Smart. Obviously, you alluded to it. No Kemba tonight. He gets a pretty big usage bump. Rates out pretty well on our sheet. I just want to see, where are the Celtics on my sheet? Right. Smart gets a 2% usage bump, 1.04 fantasy points per minute, which is actually more than Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's a pretty big beneficiary once Kemba's out. So I definitely don't hate Smart as a last piece in cash. And then Daniel Tice, I mean, at 4.9, they're going to need somebody to bang down low with Whiteside. 4,900.
Graham just got scratched, by the way.
Who? Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
1.04 fantasy points per minute, gets a 2.1% usage bump. No Robert Williams. I mean, it's just him and Cantor. Cantor could be somebody that's a sneaky GPP play at 3.3. I mean, tonight might be a night that they need him against Whiteside. God forbid Tice picks up 2 fouls in the first 6 minutes, which is definitely a possibility going up against Hassan. Cantor's, thrust into a role where instead of playing the, 10-ish minutes that he's played 3 of the last 4 games, he plays, low 20s. And at 3.3, we know how productive he is, point per dollar. So I'm definitely going to have some Enes Kanter tonight in GPPs. I like that 3.3 price tag. And if Tice picks up some early foul trouble, I mean, it's Canner that they're going to need down low to go with Hassan. This isn't a matchup that they would go to Grant Williams. So, yeah, I mean, I obviously like all the Celtics. So I think Smart and Tice, Jalen are your three safer plays. I like Tatum and then Canner as a GPP play.
I don't think any of these guys are risky just because of the over-under. And I think the one player that could end up hurting you, and I'm biting my tongue saying this because it's like I said, he's still safe, is Jason Tatum just because of his price tag. But if I had to pick, if I had to recommend, I would say, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart are probably going to get to their value. So if I had to recommend, I would say those three, Tice, Smart, and Brown. So I can kind of agree, and just because of their price tags. That's it. Yeah, so you alluded to CJ McCollum. I'm actually kind of surprised that you said that. 9K price tag. I'm probably not as high on him as I was last time, which because of the over-under with Detroit. Got 76.25 fantasy points. Absolutely went ballistic, and I definitely see him as being a viable GPP option, but it sounds like you're very high on him. Are you starting him in cash?
No, I don't think I'm going to start him in cash. I was flirting with it earlier. Like I said, I think I'd rather go with, now I think about it, between him and Tatum, I think it's kind of a toss-up. But yeah, I don't think McCollum carries too much ownership. I'm definitely going to be overweight on him in GPPs. I mean, he gets a 10% usage bump with Dame off the court. We've seen what he's done in the last 2 games. He's the primary ball handler. The offense runs through him. He should play high 30 minutes if this is a competitive game. Averages 1.23 fantasy points per minute with Dame off the court and, the other surplus of injuries that they have. So even at 9K, he's still undervalued on our sheet. He's a 5'9", so I'm definitely not scared to roster him even at 9K. Yeah, guys like him, Melo, guys that I'll definitely take chances on in GPPs. But I'll tell you now, what is CJ's percentage ownership right now?
11.
Currently? Yeah, I'll definitely be overweight on that for sure. It's a tough matchup against Smart. I
was about to ask that. Is Smart going to play him probably, right?
Yeah, I would assume he marks him. But I mean, McCollum's such a good scorer, and it is what it is. What?
Sorry, somebody asked a question in the chat. It's pretty funny. Go ahead. I didn't think you could hear me.
Would you guys take Wiggins if he hits half his shots?
Yeah.
Franco! Yeah, Franco. If he can hit half his shots, I think I like Wiggins. No, but yeah, so I definitely will be overweight on McCollum tonight. It could bite me in the ass, but even at 9K and at I'm showing 11, like that's too, I don't know. That's definitely somebody that I want to target.
CJ McCollum kind of reminds me of Bradley Beal in the sense of, like, you see what happens when their star point guard goes out. Yeah, you see what. Yeah, but it just shows you.
What's wrong with John Wall? Like, come back and play. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Give the dude some help, man.
Yeah, it just shows you how good of a caliber player those guys are and those shooters, how elite they are shooters. It just shows you because, like, Bradley Beal could have easily been in the All-Star game just like CJ McCollum if they didn't have their star point guards, right? And they were on a decent team. Like, I'm not saying the Blazers are as bad as the Wizards, but, I mean, you look at this roster and there's really nobody to help him out. And he literally did everything the other night. So, but Whiteside, also another GP, what?
The one thing I am a little bit worried about in this game and that I would tread lightly is that it opened up at 229 as the over-under. It's now down to 223. Okay. The Celtics over-under has dropped 2.25 points, and Portland's actually dropped almost 4 points. So expecting more of a defensive game, I guess you could call it. But yeah, I definitely still really like McCollum for GPPs, regardless.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about Anthony too because he also had a great game. Obviously, was on a horrible stretch before that, and finally picked it back up. So I do like Anthony. I like Whiteside, McCollum, just strictly as GPP options. Just because CJ McCollum is having that lower ownership, like you alluded to, I do like him for GPPs for sure. All right, and then we just pretty much broke down the entire slate. So let's just finish it off here with Sacramento and Golden State. So did you calculate Golden State yet?
No, I'm going to do that. That's exactly what I was going to do.
Let's both do that then. We'll take a brief pause here and our recommendations and calculate them.
Doo-doo.
Is it just Draymond Green that's out for them?
It is not. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Well, those two. Chris, is he questionable still?
He's probable.
Okay.
And then you got to take off D'Lo.
Yeah.
And
half the NBA.
Yeah, Bergson, Glenny boy. I wish that this court IQ would update this so that we didn't have to continuously.
That's the one thing. Yeah, the one thing I have wrong with this.
I
this
have
tool.
everybody memorized, which is pathetic. But like, I just wish that it would do it for me because I'd like to be lazy if I could. I don't have to be liked. I don't need to be liked. I just want to be liked.
Let's see, Robinson the third. Okay, and those are the only guys I'm forgetting, right? Alec Burks and Robinson.
No, D'Lo.
Oh, duh.
Age.
That would change things. All right. Thank you guys for staying with us. If this is your first time to the stream, please hit that subscribe button. Guys, we do this every day before lock. Every single day to help give you guys an edge. We are dedicated. I promise you. All right, did the minutes update for these guys?
Yep.
Hashed out 32. Yeah, you're right. Okay. You know what, guys? I'll get some study music on while we wait.
Wait, what did I just take off?
There we go.
So stupid.
What kind of jams do you guys listen to when you do DFS research? I'm curious. Enter that into the chat.
Silence.
I honestly can't listen to music. A lot of people listen to music while they research.
Well, you can't do two things at once, regardless of what it is.
I was waiting for it.
Matt is the worst multitasker I've ever seen in my life. Thank God that I can do like 3 things at once, surprisingly. They're all going to be like subpar and average, but they'll get done. This kid can't listen to music and drive a car at the same time. So
all right, I'm gonna mute TJ for the rest of the stream.
Mute me, see what happens, dude. Oh, Kai Bo.
No, I am the worst multitasker, but you know what? If you give me a task, I will get it done, and I will get it done well.
Oh, yeah, sure, you do it well, but if I give you 2 tasks, your mind will explode.
Not this trash. You guys don't like the hip-hop techno? All right.
Who said not this trash? I love it. Yes, it is trash. This trash out of here, Matt.
Well, guess what? I can't use copyrighted music, so...
I know, it's...
very limited.
Wow, Pascal doesn't rate out as well as I had anticipated. Yeah, I don't... I mean, Toscano Anderson is definitely a decent GPP option now. But I don't really have any interest in these Golden State guys. Like, I could see myself rostering Pascal if he wasn't 5K. Did you mute me?
No, I'm sorry. I was multitasking.
Trying to do 2 things at once. See, guys, this is what I'm talking about. It's absolutely infuriating. I love him, but I just want to,
strangle me at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see people rostering Pascal. It's definitely going to be a good pace game against them in Sacramento. Yeah, I don't think I really have too much interest in these guys.
Yeah.
I definitely have interest on the other side of the ball. But like Toscano Anderson has been playing really well for them. Rates out pretty decent on our sheet. Sub 20 minutes he's projected at right now. Got a really big price bump. He's actually up to 4,100. So, and he's played very well the last 2 games against Houston and against the Pelicans. He's played sub 20 minutes. So I definitely don't mind taking flyers on him for GPPs, especially with Draymond out now. So.
Yeah, and with the percentage ownership actually updated, it looks like he's still carrying that 1% ownership. So yeah, I do like that a lot. Yeah.
Wow, it's surprising. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really not high on these Warriors maybe for GPPs as of right now. It looks like their price tags all went up, like you said. Jordan Poole is here at 5.4. If he was in the 4K range, sure. But again, it makes it very hard to get to these guys. It's a slight pace up spot. But, like I said, if you're going to take stabs at people, Pascal, Toscano Anderson are the only ones, and then Damian Lee are the only guys I'd recommend.
Yeah, Damian Lee too. He's been playing well for them.
All right. Last but not least, and I know you want to touch base on your boy in Sacramento. Harry Giles, the only guy that really draws the interest from me, and besides your boy. Is there anybody else you want to talk about from this team? Darian Fox and Giles?
Bazemore's somebody I always like to look at, but he's been playing really well for them off the bench, especially lately since the All-Star game. I mean, the 2 games that he's played 25 and 43 DraftKings
right.
points. So he's been fairly productive for them coming off the bench. I wouldn't hate taking a stab with him for GPPs. Harry Giles too. I mean, the center position's loaded tonight. You got Harry Giles, you got Tice. Harry Giles actually looks fake in his picture. He kind of looks like cartoonish.
Kind of
He
does.
looks very thin. Yeah,
I zoom in.
that jawline is incredible.
Oh,
yeah, he looks kind of fake, like a cartoon character right there. But yeah, like you got Harry Giles, you got Tice, you got Miles Turner, you got Ibaka. You have a lot of center options, so I feel like it's kind of going to be dispersed throughout the four of them, with a majority of it going to Turner and Ibaka. So like you might get Harry Giles at a little bit lower ownership than you normally would on a different night where there aren't too many center options. So wow, you really zoomed in on his face too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I just saw that. I flipped over. So yeah, I definitely don't hate Harry Giles if he starts in terms of GPPs. I wouldn't hate him as a last piece in cash either. But De'Aaron Fox is a lock for me tonight. The Golden State struggles against guards. We know that he's going to look to push the pace. It's what he does best. He's just I love watching this kid play. He's absolutely electric. Does it all for Sacramento. We know the sub 30 minutes will be there. He hasn't been as productive as I would have liked, or obviously people that are rostering over the last, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, but I think it's a very good spot for him tonight. It's a smash spot, so I definitely like De'Aaron Fox as a cash play.
Yep. For cash, I like De'Aaron Fox too. I'm going to switch all the way back to the front here with Charlotte because I haven't calculated them yet. Have you got a better idea on what they look like or no?
No, because we hadn't touched base on that. Yeah, let's do that because now
let's crunch numbers. I won't play the music anymore, guys. I'm sorry for that.
Will you sing then?
Yeah, I might sing.
You might sing or you will sing? Oh, you can't sing.
I'll sing on mute.
You can't. You can't do it.
What?
You can't sing and crunch numbers at the same time.
I definitely can't do that.
Yeah, so just don't embarrass us. You've already done that enough tonight. Just roasting you. Let's see. So we got PJ Washington. We got Malik Monk. I feel like Malik Monk's going to be a pretty good play, man. 4,900 kind of scares me, but the fact that he's starting, it's going to be him or Rozier. One of them's going to have a big night tonight. You got Cody Martin, 26 minutes right now.
The thing is, I remember doing this before. Devontae Graham doesn't really affect the picture as much as we'd like him to.
He doesn't. He hasn't been playing very well lately either.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating.
They have 23 minutes right now to Jalen McDaniels. So that's definitely interesting as terms of pump play. Be interested to see what his fantasy point per minute is. Let's see.
PJ Washington gets a slight boost.
When you do run Charlotte, it doesn't affect them too much, but I would take off Marvin Williams and Kid Gilchrist.
Okay. And you said it doesn't affect him that much?
Nothing too crazy. No.
I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah, I don't, it's not. I'm just OCD, so.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing that sucks with TJ is he has really bad OCD when it comes to this.
Terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You can make fun of me for that. I'll allow it.
Cody Martin, is he viable? 0.69. Nice.
Cody Martin, he gets a 4% usage bump.
Yeah. 17. Okay. I have a better picture, and like I thought, Malik Monk, the only guy, but not on our sheet, just in general. 34 minutes. I mean, at 4.9, that's definitely something to consider. His percentage ownership's at 36%, so that makes it cash viable.
I would assume he takes a pretty big jump, especially that he's starting.
Yeah, Terry Rozier, I'm not as high on as Rodo is, but hey.
To each their own, right?
5.6. I mean, what's that?
To each their own?
Yeah.
Is he only a 5.6? Because I feel like he's
5.6. Yeah, he's been going down.
Pacers will start Brogdon, Holiday, Warren, Sabonis, Turner. Okay. Bridges, where you at? 0.9. I actually have Rozier at a 6.1.
You do? Well, without Marvin Williams, what's his fantasy points per minute?
0.96. Okay,
so mine was at
Yikes. I have Monk at E.
Yeah, Monk's not good, but only for ownership.
That could be some leverage right there. Go Rozier over him. Wow, guys, in a 270-minute sample size, Malik Monk averages 0.62 fantasy points per minute. The one thing that I do want to check actually is...
that ends a pace down spot. That's what.
I mean, it's Charlotte, so I think they're the lowest paced team, or slowest paced team, one of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, them going anywhere is just.
All right.
They're so bad. They're so bad as a team. They're terrible.
All right, TJ, I'm just looking at the time here, and I kind of want to fast forward a little bit. Just let's go to cash plays and GPP options once you get a better understanding of these guys.
I mean, Terry Rozier, man. It pains me to say it, but he's going to carry a lot of ownership. He rates well on the sheet. He gets a 2.1% usage bump, 0.96 fantasy points per minute. He's going to see sub 30 minutes, or mid 30 minutes rather. Oh God, I hate rostering him. I just want to check one more thing here. You can start going over your GPP plays while
I'll do that. All right, guys. So we have a segment change in our shows. We'll get to that once we get over to the question and answers segment of that. You guys can fire away all your questions, and we'll be sure to answer them. We'll see if all the graphics and everything on the screen works, because it will show the chat and everything and show you guys asking questions. So hopefully that does work. We'll get to that in just a second. Do not worry. We'll get to all your questions. But I'm going to recap my favorite GPP options. So it looks like the lowest owned guys, and I already alluded to this, Derrick Rose here, 8%. Obviously, a very, very hit or miss player tonight. Averages TJ said 1.16 fantasy points per minute. Obviously, against Denver, it's going to be tough for him to get that production. So like I said, very, very hit or miss. So I do like Derrick Rose if you're feeling risky tonight, again, in GPPs. Miles Turner. His percentage ownership went down to 18%. I love Miles Turner even more now, going against Charlotte. So Turner, another great GPP option. Damian Lee here showing at 11.94%, a pace-up spot versus Sacramento. He's priced around that 5K range, so I do like him. I'm going for the lowest owned guys, okay? So I'm not going for your cash plays. Bruce Brown also showing at 9.29%. Again, if that over-under goes a little bit higher than what is projected at against Denver, could pay off very well. And my last and favorite GPP option, I'd say my most safe GPP option on the slate, is Marcus Smart here, showing at 8% ownership. Like I said, is just as productive as these other Celtics and at a very low price tag. So I do like Marcus Smart as my favorite GPP option. People I'm going to be high weight on, but not really considering GPP plays. Brandon Ingram. I'm going to be overweight on somebody like Pascal. Daniel Tice, it looks like I'm going to be overweight on. So yeah, TJ, cash. Let's hear it.
Terry Rozier, man. Oh God. So yeah, my current cash situation is my four locks currently would be Miles Turner at 5K. I think that's way too cheap against Charlotte. It's a great matchup. De'Aaron Fox, like we alluded to, at 7-6. I really like that matchup for him against Golden State. I really like Brandon Ingram at 6'8". I love Ibaka at 6'5" as well. I'm going to do my best to get both of them in there. And then Rozier. I mean, the ownership's going to be there now. He rates out well on our sheet. All signs point to Terry Rozier in cash. And even Malik Monk, too. I'd rather go Rozier. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't hate rostering both of them. But my locks right now are going to be Terry Rozier, De'Aaron Fox, Miles Turner, and then one of Ibaka and Ingram. I mean, that could be a 5. Gallinari kind of got pushed down a little bit. Still a great matchup against Chicago. So that's kind of where my head's at right now. I'd love to try and get up and pay for LeBron or AD, but it kind of looks like a mid-tier kind of night. So I might land on a guy like Tatum or McCollum, depending on what I have left for salary. So.
Yeah, and guys, I will say this about GPPs too. If you guys are asking for GPP stacks, we're still showing very, very, very low ownership on teams in, like Chicago and teams like Golden State. They're in that awkward spot where their price tags are just high enough to where people are not on them. So again, Chicago and Golden State, if I had to recommend stacks, some of my favorite players, some of my favorite GPP players coming out of that game, Zach LaVine's showing very, very low here at 3.6%.
Ooh, Matt, your mic?
What's up?
Your mic?
Is it messed up?
Yep. Wee bit.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Beautiful.
Cool. All right. All right, so TJ, anything to say about cash before we start answering questions?
You want me to talk about it again?
No, I mean like anything to add. Any last words?
Sorry, I was being fresh.
I
Yeah,
know
I
you
think
were.
those two Charlotte guards, as much as it pains me to say, like they're gonna get the minutes sub mid-30s. So I think they're both cash viable. I'd rather go Rozier over Monk, but like I could see myself rostering both now. Turner and Ibaka. I mean, if you'd rather go to Tice or Giles, like I think all four of those guys are cash viable. I'd rather get. I think Turner's definitely somebody that I'm rostering. I really like Ibaka. I really like Tice, and I don't hate Giles either. There's just those four centers I think are really good plays. And I mean, Turner, Tice, and Giles actually have pretty fairly low price tags, so a little bit of value there too. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'd like to get to LeBron and AD, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to. So it would have to. I'd have to get off of somebody like De'Aaron Fox, which if I can make it happen, I definitely don't hate it. But we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yep, I agree. Let's go ahead to questions now.
Questions. Hit it.
All right, so I got 67 left in my util. Who do you like?
67 left in your util. For GPPs.
Yeah.
It'd be Steven Adams
specify,
for me.
But yeah.
It'd be Steven Adams or Jaylen Brown. I like both of them. I like the matchup for Steven Adams.
Okay. Let me get to it real quick. Sorry, I just want to make sure my graphics worked. I'm looking at the screen. Yeah, Steven Adams, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown in the util spot, I like him. Serge Ibaka. Those are all great options, actually. But yeah, for GPP, who's showing the lowest?
Oh, yeah, Serge. I have the lineup I'm looking at is rostering Serge, so that's why. Yeah, Ibaka
yeah.
too.
Okay. All right, so how high are you guys on TJ Warren? I was looking at Warren earlier. He actually gets a slight bump here, but again, TJ Warren's just not that productive of a fantasy point per minute player. Against Charlotte, he could have a ceiling game. 1% ownership, I would just recommend him in GPPs. I don't know if you can agree with that.
I wasn't listening. Yes.
Warren. TJ Warren, strictly GPPs.
GPPs.
Yeah.
Brandon Clark rolled out tomorrow, guys, so don't roster him again.
Rozier and Monk in the same team. Is that bad for GPP? That's a great question.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think those specific two players, no. Again, those price tags are so low in Charlotte. If they go over 99, it could definitely pay off. But 99 is just really scary. That's the only thing I have to say about that.
Matt, I'm going to go up a little bit on questions that we haven't. Barton or Rozier in GPP? I would go Rozier now with the Devontae Graham news. Smarter Jaylen Brown. It's a $500 price difference. I think you're safer saving the money and getting Marcus Smart. But I really like both of them tonight. Is McCollum an okay play? It's more of a volatile play tonight. I mean, the ownership could have been there. Like, I'd rather try and rearrange my lineup and go with somebody like CJ McConnell. $100 more, so I don't really necessarily know what your roster situation is looking like, or even like Avery Bradley. I think I'd rather go with one of those two over McCollum. I know I mentioned McCollum earlier, but he's so scoring dependent. It's a tough matchup against Denver. Brogdon, GPP or cash? Definitely GPP. Bazemore, good pick. GPP play for sure, but you know, nothing that like he's been playing very well. So GPP's for sure, definitely. Monk and Hart single entry. I can get behind that. I mean, Hart, great shooter, playing against the Lakers. They're going to need scoring. Gallinari and Giles or Rozier and Turner. Rozier and Turner.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a tough one though. I like Gallinari and Giles too.
Yeah, I like the other one more though, for sure.
All right, to the bottom, Matt. Go ahead.
All right, Kuzma or Bazemore? I'm going to say Bazemore.
Yeah,
just because he's been performing so well. Again, pace up spot for both those teams though. Smart and Brown stack. Yeah, I like that. I like their over under. I like the fact that they're playing in this big over under. 115 for Boston is really good, as TJ knows. So again, they're playing a little bit lower than that normally against Portland. So it should be a very high paced game. So I like both of those. Yeah, I feel like you can get away with a couple stacks there with Boston. Christian Wood against Denver. Christian Wood, I was actually going to mention as one of my GPP plays, but I didn't go down that far. Christian Wood is yet another good play at the power forward center position. He's power forward eligible, so I do like him for that reason.
Yeah, I'm landing on him as the last piece in cash, and
okay.
I'm not sad about it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's concerning about that is ownership, so that's why I say GPP.
Yeah.
Van Vliet or Lowry? I'm gonna have to say Van Vliet just because of his price tag. But again, they're both good options.
Save the salary, go to Van Vliet for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to congratulate the person above who I saw earlier. Got into it with the other guy that we're not going to mention. We're not going to give him the light of day. Good job, almost a takedown. He turned $5 into 70. So good job.
Hey, stuff, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Tatum GPP. Tatum is actually more of a. Well, actually, let's look at the ownership now.
Nah, he's not. He's not. I mean, yeah, I guess he's 24%. He'd be a decent spot. Like I was trying to get him as a last piece for cash, but I don't think I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I think these other Celtics are more GPP plays just because of their percentage ownership. Jason Tatum actually went up 1%. Daniel Tice went slightly down. It looks like Marcus Smart's still one of my favorites from the team. Him and Gordon Hayward are the lowest on the team.
Can't believe I'm rostering Terry Rozier.
With confidence. Nerlens Noel. We always get that question.
The numbers never lie, man. You know, it's...
Yep. No, if there's one thing you guys should know, we always point at statistics over our feelings, okay? TJ hates Rozier.
Guy's trash, but I'm going to roster him.
Completely hates him, but hey, stats point to him. Noel. So Nerlens Noel is always a decent GPP play just because you never know what's going to happen with those minutes. It's so up and down. I mean, if he gets over 15 minutes, he's always a decent GPP option. Against Chicago, absolutely. Going to end up being a decent play.
Thoughts it's a bonus. I mean, it's a great matchup, man. Him and Turner, both of them. Bigs against Charlotte are definitely guys you want to target. So I definitely don't hate Sabonis at 9K for GPPs.
Yeah, Sabonis is another great matchup.
Who is the safest? Barton, Rose, or Rozier? It'd probably be Rozier now.
Rozier or Rose for GPP? Rozier is definitely going to have higher ownership. So Rose.
Yeah, I think Rose for GPPs. Yeah, just based on ownership. I don't hate that. Highly owned Jay Brown or Steven Adams flex. We just kind of touched base on this. I feel like that's the range that we like Steven Adams and Jalen. I'd go Steven Adams. I like that matchup. But, I mean, Jaylen Brown's going to probably play 5 to 6 minutes more. So take that into consideration for sure.
You already read that. Rozier or Lee. Depends on what contest you're talking about. Rozier is probably going to carry higher ownership. He's, like we mentioned, he's not a bad play on this slate. I do like Rozier, but I also like Lee at very, very bottom of the barrel ownership. So I'm going to read this line. Smart, Rozier, Gallinari, Hayward, Jokic, Hill. Which Hill? Would that be George Hill?
The Hill.
Huh?
The Hill.
Anderson, Fox, GPP. No, I don't know why I said no. I think that's a good lineup. I think you have to mix in some of those very low owned guys with some more chalk, though. I know that Hayward, Jokic, Hill, those guys are gonna be very low owned, very low. McDermott ?
GPP play, yeah. It's cheap. Look at the minutes. He's 3K. I mean,
yeah, 25 minutes, not bad for sure. Yeah. Top fade of the slate. I saw your question earlier. I'm sorry. If I had to pick a fade, if you're talking about cash, and TJ's probably gonna kill me with whoever I say. Let's see. I'm gonna look.
A top cash fade would be Jokic.
Is he? But he's not even high owned, is he?
Top cash. Oh. You're talking ownership, not price.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's tough. I feel like there's a lot of good chalk tonight.
Mine would be Pascal at 5K. He'll garner some ownership. I don't have any interest in him.
Oh, that's tough.
There's
a lot of good. You want Harry Giles at 21%. If you consider him cash viable, I'd say that's a good fade because of the minutes. But that's it.
Satoransky cash, no.
Yeah, GPP for
Lowry,
sure.
GPP Fox.
All right, TJ, we hit the 6:30 mark. Hate to do this to you guys. Again, we have a new format for our streams. If you guys do like it, let us know. Let us know any feedback. If you hate it, let us know. Okay, so DM us. any more questions, again, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, I updated it in the link on my last video, actually. So go ahead and view the video from this morning if you guys want to get into the Discord. And yeah, so TJ, any last words?
No, good luck. Wait, I want to answer this one guy's question. McCollum's ownership right now is showing 7%. So GPP play. Wouldn't feel great about rostering him in cash, but as a last spot, like 3-1, it's not the worst. Yeah, good luck, guys. Go Charlotte guards.
Yeah, guys, have a great night, and let's cash.
Love you guys.
Put some perk in my cup.